Hello, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you guys are good. Hope you're having a great day. All right. So, as most of you know, well, first of all, if you're just finding this channel, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Those of you that are returning, thank you guys so much for being back here. As you guys come in, please go ahead and hit that like button for me and make sure you sub up to the channel if you have not already done so. Now, as a lot of you know, we have been talking about the Sebastian Rogers case. Well, there's a few things that I definitely want to go over, and a few things that just kind of raise more questions for me. So we're going to get right into that. So there's a little bit that I wanted to go over as far as the church that the Proudfoots, that Chris said that that family attended, which was Freedom Church in Gallatin, Tennessee. Now, let's look at something. So this is the church in Gallatin, Freedom Church, that the Proudfoots attend. I did go through their Facebook page, and I had to scroll down, but I did see that the Bauer Sacks also attend this same church. Now, here's the important thing that I wanted to bring up. This is a Baptist church, okay? All these Baptist church down there, they all came from the fundamental Baptists, which, you know, has its own set of issues and beliefs and things like that. If you want to know more about that, go ahead and go into looking that up. But there's a lot of Baptist churches in Tennessee that have the fundamentalist way of thinking, that do believe that autism is it's not real. They look at it as a type of demonic possession, which obviously it's not the same thing, but they refer to it as demonic possession because they believe that autism is somehow the devil's work in there, and you need to rid yourself of that. You need to, excise the demon out of you, basically. So and I brought this up because let me show you this. Okay, so first I will just show you this. Now, this is not from their church, it's from a church 30 minutes from where they live, but it's also a Baptist church, fundamentalist Baptist church. And this is the pastor, Greg Locke, and the beliefs. So I went on to Google Tennessee Church, Gallatin, autism, demonic, right? And it comes up and it gives you articles on these different churches in the area and the baptism beliefs and all that. And like I said, it applies to a lot of the churches in that specific area. Now, I'll tell you why I think that it also may be affecting the church that the Proudfoots attended, and I'll show you that right here. Okay, so if you go to their Facebook page right here, Sebastian went missing on February 26th. This is February 26th of 2024. I had to go all the way back there. So they do not make one mention whatsoever of Sebastian going missing. They did not post a flyer on their Facebook page. Now, we know that the Proudfoots attend this church. We know that the Bauer Saxes attend this church. That both came right out. There's actually comments from Terry Bauer Sachs on here on different posts. But Chris himself told us that he was a member of this church. So what kind of church that you attend, that you are a member of, is not going to post, reshare in the community a missing flyer or a flyer of someone's missing child, unless they held on to that Baptist belief that a lot of these Tennessee churches preach, in that, having autism and being autistic it means the devil's got a hold of you in there somewhere and it's demonic and you need to excise those demons. which again is just absurd. I've never heard anybody ever reference autism to demonic possession before, but apparently it's a thing and it's taught in a lot of these churches in this area. But think about this for a minute. If you attended this church and you've been a member for a year, and your parents have been a member of this church, right? And your stepson goes missing, and there's this huge search out, and there's flyers being shared everywhere, and there's things happening. But your church, with all this big church with all these members, is not going to share that missing persons flyer. Is not even going to mention it, not make a post about it, not even acknowledge Sebastian going missing whatsoever. Think about that. Think about that, because that doesn't make any sense. Now, this coming from a church who just previously, in 2017, had a pastor who was arrested for having teenagers. He was arrested for photographing a teenage girl in his bathroom without her, obviously without her knowledge. But this is what I'm saying. Now, I want to show you an example of the kind of way that they are. So let me show you this. Now, this was created, this video, this sermon was done February of last year, right before Sebastian would have gone missing. Now, this church teaches that the greatest human bond or connection that you can have is between husband and wife. Now, let me do something here. I want to read it to you. I don't know where I wrote it down. But anyway, and that nothing else can break that bond. Nothing else can get in the way of that. Everything that challenges that is the devil putting stuff in your way. Right? Now, we know that Chris and Katie were having these marital issues, and there was talks of them getting split up because they both looked at Sebastian as a burden. And now hearing this, you almost wonder if they were like, yeah, we got to get this evil out of our lives. Now, I'm not stating that. I'm not saying that. But going by what their church taught. So I want you to listen to this little clip here.
In the Old Testament, there's a word. The word is a Hebrew word, berith. The word berith means cutting. It means the shedding of blood. But when you look at berith in the Hebrew wedding example, Hebrew weddings would last as long as a week. And what would happen is the bride and the groom, they would come together to be able to exchange their vows. They would say their vows before God and before their family. And then the two virgins, the husband and the wife, would go into the bridal chambers, the huppah, and then they would consummate their marriage. Well, what would happen as they consummate their marriage, when they showed that to the wedding party, that was the blood on the sheet, signifying the berith, signifying that two became one flesh, signifying that there was a shedding of blood. And God designed marriage as a covenant, the berith, and this verse here signifies that marriage is not just some social contract, that is a divine institution is what marriage is. And it is a lifelong exclusive commitment to your spouse, between a husband and a wife.
Okay, so that was the main church guy, the pastor there. And these are the kind of teachings. So if they were if they were listening to this and they were involved in this and they were believing this and they were having these problems at home and they were looking at Sebastian like he was a burden, and he was getting in the way of their covenant, their marriage, their bond that is unbreakable. It's not a social contract, like, just like that guy was saying. I don't know why people are so blind to this. I don't know why people are not seeing what's going on here. And another really super weird thing about this church is there's a YouTuber, and he's been a YouTuber for a long time. And I was going through the church the staff of their church, right? I was going through their like meet our staff, and I'm like, I see this name and I'm like, that name sounds super familiar to me. I'm like, where do I know that name from? And then I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that guy a YouTuber? So they have a pastor that works at that church who is a YouTuber. He's done true crime. He, you know, has done all of these cases, but he never covered the Sebastian Rogers case, and he knew the family. Never mentioned one word about it. Don't you think that's odd? And I'm going to show you right here. Tyler Fowler, teaching pastor. I was like, wait a minute, he looks familiar. I know that. Okay, now let me show you over here. Now here's his YouTube. Now if you go, I'm going to show you. I got to get there. Obviously, he covered all the political stuff, but no, I'm trying to get back further. Because he did. He covered all of these true crime cases. He covered Idaho 4. He covered, yep, see, Idaho 4. The beach killing, the Micah Miller. Like, he's done all of these true crime things. He even did, look, there's that Riley Strain. He did that one, but never mentioned one word about the Sebastian Rogers case, which is super freaking weird, especially since he worked at the church that the kid that Sebastian's family attended. I mean, nobody thinks that's freaking strange. It's it's something's very, very wrong with this whole situation. Okay. Now, so I had been going through and listening to Chris on different panels, right? Now, one thing stood out to me. He had done a panel like 9 months ago, 9 months ago. And he said, these were his exact words. The world operates on networking, connections and networking, who you know and what you know. People have friends in the weirdest places. Sometimes those friends can be extremely beneficial. I think I just thought that was important enough to mention and to put out there, that was a quote from Chris himself. And seeing how all of these people involved are, it makes you wonder really what networking was done, what connections were made, who are these people that were extremely beneficial to him, because people have friends in the weirdest places. Weirdest like where? I just thought that should be mentioned. Yeah, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on what you think about all of this, because I think all this is super strange and super sketchy, especially knowing what I now know about fundamentalists and Baptists, and how they think about autism, and all of it combined. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I'll see you all next time.